All right.
Good evening, Toastmasters. This is a Monday night leadership learning session for the base camp managers. And this is on base camp reports. Now, as you know, or as you may know, the base camp managers are your club president, the vice president of education, and the club secretary. We have had several dozen people ask about base camp reports. And we have two dynamic ladies that are here tonight to present that information to you. I would like to introduce Plains Division Director, none other than Kimberly Richards, as well as Area Director for Area 64, none other than Leslie Gibeault. Ladies, take it away.
So I'm going to kind of do a spoiler. So I know that you're here for reports, but how many of you are really feeling proficient at running base camp? Just in general, all the different steps, the nuances, best practices. Don't be shy. This is going to be as interactive as you guys want to make it. So, all right, I thought Eric would give us a thumbs up. I can see you all. So just so you know, just because I'm sharing my screen, I see your amazing faces. I came into the office so I could have my two monitors up. This is going to be interactive. We want not even a little bit. I love it, Lana. So that's what we're here to do today. So I'm going to let Leslie introduce herself. Leslie has been in Toastmasters, I think longer than I have for sure. And we tag team a lot of times. You'll see us in the same places a lot of times. We work really well together. And the two of us usually can come together and make one amazing brain child of something. So Leslie, I don't know if you want to kick off and we can get started.
Absolutely, I'd love to. So I've been in Toastmasters for 5 years, as Kim said, and my club launched when Pathways was coming out. So kind of grew up with Pathways. And we're going to start off, we're going to talk a little bit about base camp and we're going to get the basics down and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. So Kim, let's move forward on the slide and get started here. So we're going to talk, this is the agenda. We're going to talk about roles and responsibilities. We'll launch a little bit into the reports and talk about where your resources as far as reporting is. Then we'll get into base camp, how to get to base camp because things have changed. That, wonderful ERP upgrade that we've had that was supposed to be about a month that drug on for, as we know, about 6 months. Then we'll go into Club Central, what's changed there, what you do in there. And then, of course, we'll always wrap up with your resources, and we've got some good stuff for you guys. So, roles and responsibilities. Pop quiz. Which roles in your club have base camp manager access? Naomi already told y'all.
She did. She gave you a little bit of a cheat.
President, VP of Ed, Secretary.
There you go.
Very good. There you go. So let's talk about what is the difference between base camp and base camp manager.
Is there a difference?
The base camp manager has admin rights to look at all the members' levels, accomplishments in the base camp, including the reports, which are a little cumbersome to get through.
Yep.
And base camp, go ahead and tell them what base camp is, Les. Sorry, I was going to take your...
Right. So base camp, everybody, all members can get into base camp. If you have a login, which everybody should have a login to Toastmasters International, base camp is where everyone, all members go to access their pathways, to work through, to get to their projects, to enter, when they've completed their project, completed their level, submit those over. Base camp manager is where the three roles, president, BPE, secretary, goes in to prove those level completions, to prove the path completions for the members as they move through their projects and paths. That's the difference between the two. All right.
All right.
So let's talk a little bit. I'm gonna turn it over to Kim, and she's gonna actually I'm gonna go through the reporting. Sorry. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the reporting and what you're gonna look at when you go into the dashboard. So actually, I'm gonna turn it over to Kim. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yep. No, you're good. So let's talk about
So-
dashboards. Yeah. So why would we want to come out to the club dashboard before you start your base camp admin stuff? Why do you think that would be important? And I kind of have it highlighted a little bit to give it away, but you guys can come off of mute. You can put it into chat. These are some things that we would want you to look at before you go in and start working on club level granting, if you will.
Look at the goals for each of the different aspects of the dashboard.
Absolutely. So you can see right now we're looking at Tyler Advance. It's actually one of the clubs that I am the VP of Education for. And you can see that we've got a goal of 4 level 1s, 2 level 2s, 2 more level 2s, 2 level 3s, a level 4, 5 or DTM, and another level 4, 5 or DTM. We've already met our goals for the top 3. But we are still looking for a level 1, 2, and 2 more level 2s. Why would that be important? Does anybody understand why you want to come out here and just get a gander, take a look at what we've got, and want to make sure there's a process and a logic to this? When you have a lot of members who are submitting awards, it's really important, and especially, how many of you are members of more than one club? Yep. I am a member of, oh, look at my hand. It followed my hand, Naomi. That's so cool. I am a member of 3 clubs, and I have cross club pollination with at least 3 or 4 people, meaning in those 3 clubs, 3 or 4 of those people are members in every single one of the clubs I'm a member of. So Tyler Evening, 3 or 4 same members. Tyler Advance, the same 3 or 4 members. Confident Leaders, the same 3 or 4 members. If we are not careful when you're managing base camp activity, it is very likely impossible, and you're going to see this as we progress through the session, to assign levels to the wrong place. I've done it before. It was a mistake. And the tricky thing is that they being Toastmasters International, we haven't had a lot of luck in them transferring when it's a problem. I cannot lower my hand. Naomi, can you lower my hand? I feel weird that my hand's up all the time. So it's just really important for us to make sure you're aware that that's what we're looking at. Hold on a second. I see what I just did here. I got out of my PowerPoint presentation. There we go. So just really critical that you understand how many more level 1s do we need. And as the VP Education or President or even Secretary, we're halfway through the Toastmasters year. It's not a bad idea to give your clubs a shout out and say, hey guys, this is where we're at. This is how many more level 1s we need. Who can come up and get those for us? Right? How many more level 2s do we need? Things like that. So it's really good for you to come out to dashboard and just gut check where you're at. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this? Does anybody not know about dashboards, or there's confusion around dashboards? You'd like, hey, I'd love to know more about dashboards.
Can you explain again where you go to find that? You just
Absolutely. I will do that. In fact, at the end of this, we have our resources, and I've got a dashboard training link that I can give to you, but I can also navigate there, and I will show you how to get to this dashboard page.
Thank you.
And
Because
can you,
yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say, can you also explain who is the person that is supposed to put in this information to say what goals our club is doing?
Yes. So every single club in Toastmasters have the same goals. Okay. These are called DCP points. Okay. And each goal equivalates to 1 DCP point. So you can see we have 3 checks in this section. There's 10 possibilities. I only did a screenshot for the learning piece because that's what we're focused on today. But you can see that in order to get to a distinguished with your club, you need to get to a minimum of 5 DCP points. If you want to make it to select distinguished, you need 7, and president's distinguished, you need 9. So there are things that we need to be doing just in general housekeeping as officers. We need to be going to the 2 different TLIs so that we can get our DCP point. Getting your officer list out there on time gets you an easy DCP point. Dues paid on time for your club, easy DCP point. But these are education levels. And the whole purpose of Base Camp and the Pathways program, we want to make sure that our members are speaking, 1, and 2, that we're putting their levels in and they're getting credit for it. The other important thing is, and we're going to get here, and you know what, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but this is basically our dashboard to give you a barometer and a pulse of where you're at within your club. So we want you to check it out before you really, and if you haven't checked it out, it's a really good place for you to get familiar and start living and learning and things like that within your club. So this is actually, I was going to give it away and I'm glad I didn't. Who can tell me how many levels one member can give to a club? So that means how many times I'm a part of Executive Toastmasters. How many level 1s can I give Executive Toastmasters?
1 for each pathway that you have subscribed to?
1 level. So if I'm doing 2 paths, I actually am right now, I'm doing engaging humor and I'm doing strategic relationships. And if I complete 2 level 1s, I can only give 1 level 1 to one of my clubs. If I have a second one and they need it, I cannot give them 2 level 1s. So that's really important for you to understand. That's why this dashboard is so important, and for you to be tracking who is giving you what. Because if I say, David, I've got 2 level 1s I'll give to you. We've got 4 that we need. I've got 2. It won't count. And TI will not accept it. And then it just goes into nowhere. And then I can't ever give it to my other 2 clubs that I'm a member of.
Kimberly,
so
is that per year?
Yes, sir.
Yes, correct.
So it's okay. Like if I have a level 1 and it's in my bank, I could give that level 1 next year once it's available. And people do that. But I want you guys just to know, did people not, and I didn't know that originally. I think these are little things that we learn as we go. And so I really wanted to make sure that we called that out. And that's why we wanted to show you that dashboard. And we're going to give you some tips and tools along the way. Okay. Member progress. So if you've gone in, does anybody not know what this screen is right here? There's 3 big squares. Has anyone not seen this screen? And if you haven't, that's okay. I just want us to, okay. This is the screen that when you get into Base Camp, you're going to see 3 squares: pending requests, member progress, and manager tutorials. The cool thing about manager tutorials is they're like little videos and little things that you can watch on helpful tips and tricks. Member progress is what we will consider the report aspect of Base Camp. Now, remember when we just said how many clubs are you a member of? Are there multiple members here of multiple clubs? If you go in, let me rephrase that. When you go into Base Camp, and you're going to see this in a second, you can choose which club you want to do business under. Okay. I'm a member of 3 clubs. I'm typically usually going to try to do business under Confident Leaders is usually where I'll hang out. Why? Because I'm the VP membership for my other club, so it's not going to work out very well. And I'm very connected to my Confident Leaders officers because I'm the president. So it's a little bit easier for me to conduct all of my business under Confident Leaders. So what does that mean? If my president or my VP of Eds or anybody goes into my other 2 clubs, they will not probably see my progress in those areas, okay? The only place that will show progress or report out are where I've conducted my path business, my level business. So what does that mean for you as officers? If you have members who are multiple club members and they're doing business in a different club, and you come out here to see their member progress, you may not see it. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of bring some awareness to the limitations on this square. We're really not going to get into it too much in detail for that specific reason. Les, did you want to talk about this a little bit more? I know this was something we talked about.
Another thing about the reporting under member progress, you've ever heard data in is as good, the data out is as good as the data in. Well, if your members themselves, because they drive this reporting, in addition to the fact that the reporting is not going to be accurate because your members are moving in and out of the clubs constantly and they're switching it between your club and another club, so they may not be reflecting on the reporting depending on how they're switched in and out. If they're not consistently going in there and every time they complete out a project, going in there and completing it, meaning if they've given that project speech and they don't go in there immediately and complete it out, same thing with their level. If they're one of those people that waits until they completed their entire path to go in there and complete out their projects, the reporting is not going to be accurate. So although this is a good tool to utilize as a guesstimate on where you stand, it is not going to be the most accurate of reporting.
But we're going to show you what is.
Yes. And we're going to give you some tools to help you track it for yourselves.
So you saw in the beginning, I showed you this big gray covered up dashboard, right? You saw the goals and how many DCP points. I want to draw your attention to the left-hand side under other reports and daily reports. We love daily reports. If you've never seen the daily reports, it's very, very slick. And once you start to use it, you'll come out here more and more frequently. And as you continue on through Toastmasters and you grow with leadership or anything like that, you'll start to really utilize this area of the dashboard. We'll show you how to navigate here. But when you do this, there are all of these different April dues renewal status. Where are you looking at for April, your April and January dues? New clubs, if you're curious on how District 50 is doing on new clubs. October dues renewal status, the officer lists, prospective clubs, things like that. You all you have to do is come here to educational achievements, and this is just for the current year. And when you do that, what it's going to do is give you a long list of all of District 50's members who have been achieving their levels. Okay. Now, it's not in order. It's not in alphabetical order. And at the top of this column right here, you're just going to see Leslie. I chose Leslie's because we're talking today, and I figured you could look at our information. All you have to do is click at the top, and it'll automatically alphabetize it, whether it's the Z's at the top or the A's at the bottom. If you're a K or an L, you're going to have to scroll. But if you're lucky and you're a Z and you want to look at Z's in the front, you can make them come to the top. But what this is going to do is it's going to tell you that Leslie has submitted a VC4 and a VC5, and she gave it to her club, Roving 49ers. Okay. And then you're going to also see she gave an EC1, an EC2, and a VC3 to Speech Please. So what that means is that if she has an EC3 or an EC4, she cannot give those. Let me rephrase that. If she has an EC4 or an EC5, she can give those to Speech Please, but she would not be able to give those to Roving. But Roving 49ers didn't get a level 1, 2, or 3 from her, and you can see that she's probably already given her VCs 1, 2, and 3 out already. So if she's working on a new path with new levels and they have that need, she could give those to Roving 49ers. But once they've all gotten levels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, she's done. She can't give any more. That's why it's so important that our members are speaking and that we're encouraging our members within those clubs to complete those levels so we can keep them progressing, and it helps them achieve their goals. I'm going to pause. Is there any questions on this logic that we've taught you or that we're sharing with you today before we move on? Hi, Lana.
Good. This is one piece of information I didn't know how to get to, so I appreciate it very much.
I love it. Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that. Anything else? Okay, we're going to keep going.
By the way that report is set up, it's not in alphabetical order. It is actually in club number order. So it starts with our oldest club, which I think is Shreveport, and it goes in number order. So executive, you're going to be up towards the top because you're your club that's been around for a minute, and then it goes down to our newest club. That's how it's actually listed. Don't ask me why.
Shreveport might also be 1949, but Big D Dallas Toastmasters is 1949, and I usually hear them being lauded as the most senior club.
Maybe one of those
some
two
good
is
old timers for sure.
I think one of them is a month or two older than the other. I forget which is which, but yeah, they're both up to the top.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a tip. How many of you guys use a tracking sheet to show when people are giving speeches or when they're completing?
I used to.
So what would be really good for you to do is not only track who's giving those speeches, but when they ask you to assign their levels to your club. So if Leslie, David, Christy, and Rhonda all give me a level 1, I want to say that they gave me a level 1 and they gave me a level 1 for confident leaders. And then I'm going to know who that was, because then that way, when Christy accidentally forgets because she's a member of 5 different clubs, or if Christy's not tracking, right? A lot of our members don't necessarily track how many times they're giving out their information. If they forget, you could potentially accidentally give that level to a club that you've already given to, and then it won't count. And you do lose it. So not intentionally, I just think there's a lot of admin work there. So we haven't seen people get those back yet. So we've got this as a resource for you, and we're going to share that with you at the end of this session. So where can we take you today, Kimberly? So when you log in to Toastmasters International, the new user interface, it's the maroon banner at the top. I've got it on another screen. I can show that to you. It literally is going to take you to this screen. And you're going to want to click on Go to Basecamp. And as you can see, here's my maroon banner up the top. And when I click on that, I can do business as a Confident Leader member, a Tyler Advanced member, or a Tyler Evening member. And I'm an officer in 2 of those 3 clubs. So I can do business as a Confident Leader or as a Tyler Advanced Toastie. So today's example, because I was super lucky, we had awards to approve in Tyler Advanced. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to build this deck for you so you could see how this works. When you're going in and you're approving, this is the Basecamp part of the session. You're going to want to go ahead and click on that club that you're going to be doing business for. And if you are an officer that is a Basecamp admin, you really need to make sure you're aware of what business you're attending to for what club. Because at one point, it goes away. You won't see it. Okay. And then what you're going to do is there's those beautiful 3 squares again, and you're going to click on pending requests because you're going to go in to approve those member requests. This is a 2-part process. The first part is you go into Basecamp. This is what it looks like. So we've got a lot of UI. This still looks a little old school, right? It's a little bit more data organized looking. And you're going to see that Jennifer Jones has submitted 3 levels for requests to be approved. Level 1 VC, level 2 VC, and a level 5 motivational strategies. So that means that maybe she gave a level 3 or a 4 somewhere else. We don't know. She could have conducted that business. She is a member of 2 or 3 other clubs. So we know that. I know that about her. So when I see this, what you need to do is you need to look at what the number is, and then you're going to either say, I'm not going to approve this because I don't know what this is. Or I trust her. I know that she's been working on her visionary communication. It's her third or fourth path that she's been working on. All you do is check that little green checkbox. That's all you do. You can check all of these at one time and go through them all at once. For the purpose of tonight, I just approved one, and I'm going to show you how that plays out. Are there any questions on this before I move on?
Nope.
This part's pretty simple. The most important part, I think, is checking that you're doing business under the right club. Because you can see here, and honestly, if we weren't in, if I was in Confident Leaders, I wouldn't see her information because she is not a member of Confident Leaders. Where it really gets kind of persnickety is when we get into Club Central. And this is how we get into Club Central. So remember, we clicked on that Base Camp button to get into the 3 squares that I showed, my member squares, and then my admin squares were the second 2 boxes. After I've approved those, now I've got to go back out and I need to go into Leadership Central, Club Central. And this is again where you're going to select where do you want to do business. Now, Jennifer Jones is a member of Tyler Advanced Toasties. If this was one of my members that I am a co-member of at the other clubs and I didn't know where I was at, it's very likely because I actually did this year. I'm not afraid to say I goofed up, but one of our members asked me to apply her levels and I applied it to the wrong club because she's a member of both Tyler Advanced and Confident Leaders. That's okay because she's totally going crazy on her past and she's going to go get us some other ones. So, so you're going to go ahead and we're going to click on Tyler Advanced Toasties and then submit education awards. So it's very logical. Once you click it, it's going to give you options of what you want to select. We're going to select submit education awards. And you're going to click and it's going to say select a member. Well, there's Jennifer Jones. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select Jenny Jones. And you can see there is her online visionary communication level 1. Now, the great news is we only had one level 1. We need that level 1. If I knew that we had 4 level 1s, would I want to approve this and assign it to Tyler Advanced?
No.
No. It would be better for me to go back to her and say, do you have another club that needs a level 1? If so, go talk to that officer for Base Camp Manager. You've got a level 1, we can't use it at Tyler Advanced today. Or if she's full up at all of her other clubs and they can't accept her level 1, she can leave it in this bank and then we can apply it later. Does that make sense to you guys? For those of you who only have one club, single members, it's really a no. It's not tough. So when you've got members who are members of lots of clubs, it's really important we're watching where we're assigning those levels. Hey, Margaret.
Yes.
Did you come off of mute? Did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, with just a single club, that we do not have the challenges right now with what you're addressing.
Yeah, I just like to talk about it because when you guys get really rolling in here and you start joining other clubs and advanced clubs, this just becomes one of the things that we look at. So I would go ahead and I would select online visionary communication. And this is a 3-screen part. So screen 1, you can see I selected this. I'm going to click on review award submission. Step 2, again, it shows me it's Jennifer Jones, MS3. I'm going to submit an award. And then do I just want to return to Club Central or do I want to submit another award? Had I selected all of those awards, let's go look at that real quick. She has a level 2, which we need a level 2, and she has a level 5 completion. But if we go back, let's just go back really fast to this. I don't need a level 5 for Tyler Advanced. So it's going to be really important for me to send her a note and say, hey, I approved your level 5. Tyler Advanced doesn't need it. Does one of your other clubs need it? So this is where it's important for us to be watching this dashboard that we're not over submitting levels. And then again, if they're only a member of one and they're going gangbusters, you can have those hold over.
Quick
And
question.
so,
Oh, go ahead. I was thinking on the banking, because we have more people submitting usually than we need. So how do we bank and then use them the next cycle?
So when we were in when we were in Club Central,
Right?
and you click on the name, what it's going to do is it's going to tell you all of the available levels available to assign and submit. And so what you just do is you let them sit there and you
Okay.
don't submit them.
Right. But you need to ask your member if they're okay with that. Because
Yeah, we
if they're
do.
like,
I just
just
didn't.
ask them if they're
Yeah, we bank, and I just didn't know how we get to that bank. So this is where we do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. After
especially if they're working on their DTM and they want to get their DTM. So just ask your members, just validate if they're okay with banking it until after July 1st.
Absolutely. It's really important to have them tell you where to put it. And for those members who are members of multiple clubs, they usually will tell you, they'll send you a note. I'll give you an example. When I was building this, I went in, I'm like, yes, I've got levels to approve. President and Secretary, do not approve any levels in Basecamp. I'm working on a training. And they were like, we won't touch them. I was like, great, thanks. So it's just about communication. And then after I was notified that it was confirming that level 1 visionary communication for Jennifer Jones was processed. And then she would also get the same, she will get an email as well verifying that her visionary communication was processed. So that's the whole cycle. Yes. Hey, Eric.
So when you approve in Basecamp, it goes to Club Central. And when you approve in Club Central, what's the usual delay before it shows up as updated on the dashboard for DCP points?
24-ish hours?
Before it shows up on.
No, it's been longer than 24 hours.
What is it, Christy Peterson?
It depends on whether it's at month end, Eric. It would normally be what Leslie was about to say. There is 24 hours, like next morning. It never shows up same day, but there is that period for a week or even two at the beginning of the month where Toastmasters International is closing out the prior month. So awards that you apply won't show until month end. There's a place on the dashboard where you can check what the month end date is, or just check back.
I found that. So they don't award the points after they close out the previous month. They just wait for the month end date.
Correct. Because theoretically, if you wanted to, we had award for how many DCP goals you get by the end of December, then they have to close December so we can see month end in its entirety. And we do actually have an award for that.
So is the recommendation, don't do any educational business the first week of the month?
No, you just do it whenever you want, but just check back later. I wouldn't wait.
Okay.
Only one time when I submitted like July 1st, it didn't seem to take. So I wouldn't go for July 1st, but any other time, just keep on going.
And one last question.
At the end of the year, June 30th is an important cutoff. It absolutely is the end of the.
Especially if you're trying to get those DTMs and things like that.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully I won't have to do any business in June. But
do it early,
if I have a member with multiple pathways and they complete level 2, then only one level 2 is credited. Does that mean it never shows up on DCP if I go through the regular process?
It means
it'll just disappear into the bit bucket.
If you were to assign those 2 level 2s to your club, only one would count, and the other one would go into an abyss, and you would never see it again.
Well, you see it, you just don't get credit for it. So let's say we all had a level 1 and we're all part of the same club. And so now it will show you 10 level 1s, but you only get 1 DCP.
You only get 1 point for level 1. Yeah.
Kind of
that-
like
that
the more
hasn't
members. It'll tell
changed.
you that you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Bing, you get the point. It'll keep on counting. It just won't give you any more credit.
Okay. All right. I think I understand that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I would just recommend not approving that that level 2 for your club, just so that you have it. And then that way you would have it for the future. So you wouldn't have 2. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Kimberly,
and I'm
can I ask a
assuming
question?
that
Oh, absolutely. Ask away. We want as much interaction as we can have on these puppies.
Great. Eric, were you done? It sounded like you might have had something else to ask.
the only other question was, is the link to the tracking sheets part of the resources at the end?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to show you some stuff. Absolutely.
All right. I'm done.
So I just wanted to make sure I understand this because I took over VPE in July, but I did not have access to the system for a couple months because our club was in the process of merging.
Yes, I remember all of that.
Yes, and I've just sent an email out today. So maybe you're answering the question by what you just said. So we have several people that did not get approved until July 12th. They did their speeches last year, we'll say, let's say April or May of last year. Do they count this year? So
would
if
say
there
yes.
were 8
Yes.
or 9 people that all got approved kind of late, they did them last year. So what you're saying is it's almost like you could have banked them. So we like move them into this next one. Now we can count all of them in this year's cycle.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
And then I'm going to also say this, when you guys, and for those of you who are in Plains, we are going to do a DTM conversation on Wednesday. And if you're wanting to go, you're more than welcome to come. But when you do activities like a year of service in District 50, in order to get your DTM, you have to do Toastmaster service. If I was an area director, which I was 3 years ago, I get to bank that service. It doesn't go away on my record. I'm a division director this year. I'll get another year of service. That never goes away. That banks. And what that does is that banks for my future DTMs that I want to go after and get. So it kind of works the same with those levels. So that's a great question, Tracy. And I know that Najef and Dan Reeder are working on I saw your email today. I got copied on it.
Okay. So this is perfect timing then. Thank you.
You're welcome. So there's four resources. And Les, are you gonna, oh, you already did. So Leslie put 2 of them into the chat. The first one is gonna be the tracking sheet. She put that in there. I would actually make sure that you know where people's paths are going and maybe add club that you assigned it to, especially if they are cross-pollinating. Like I said, I'm a member of 3 clubs and I think 3 or 4 people I have the same members in all 3 clubs. So it's just really important that I know where that stuff is going. The other one, this is one of Leslie's favorite, is the Pathways, Paths and Projects doc. It's like a 66-page document. It's gold.
Don't freak out though. Don't freak out though.
It's golden. It's gems.
Love that
It's
document.
it's her favorite. Look, even Naomi's giving a thumbs up. Why? Because it's interactive. When you open it up, the very first page, let's say you want to go look at what is engaging humor, you click on it and it'll literally shuttle you down to engaging humor. And it's going to give you all of the requirements that are needed in engaging humor.
But it's even cooler than that, because if you're in there and once you get down to engaging humor, once you get there, you click on the project and it'll open up the project and tell you what the project's all about. I love this document. This is how I know so much about Pathways. I was given that document when I first was VPE, when our club chartered, and I just started digging around and learning Pathways through this document. And I loved it so much. I'm such a nerd. I printed it out and made a copy of it, a book of it for each of my officers. And I made them carry it around with them while our club was learning Pathways, so that as the members were asking questions, they could pull out their book and go in there and find everything and could answer their questions, because we had no mentor. So the officers were officers a good month before we chartered the club. So we were our club's mentors, because that sounds like a good plan, right? So
well, you guys were pretty successful. You're doing good.
Yeah. We knew Pathways a month before our members did. So that's how we learned and how we taught our members. And I love this document. I love it.
The other thing I'm going to draw your attention to, actually, it's two things. One, if you didn't know, District 50 has a Facebook page. If you're not a member of the District 50 Facebook page, you should get on there. Naomi posts her leadership learnings out there all the time. We've got another one coming up on Thomas Kenyon. He is area director for 44, is going to be giving 44. He's going to be giving a podcast leadership learning. So for any of you who want to take one of the advanced, we've got levels, but level 3, 4, and 5, there's a podcast level in there. He's going to teach us how to not be afraid of the podcast. Get those skills that maybe you never knew you wanted to have, and then find a new passion that you didn't know where it was there. All of that, Naomi puts that out on Facebook. So if you're kind of curious about other learnings that are coming up, Naomi is always posting out there when those are coming. And then the other is there's this Facebook Pathways discussion group. I didn't know about it till I was prepping for this call, and someone invited me to that. And that's where we got the documents that we shared with you today. Amazing. And if you want it in French, they've got stuff in French and all kinds of things. So there's also a link here, Dashboards Made Easy. I don't know if you can go get it real quick from D50 and put it into the chat. I can also do it. I can show them in a second. But last year I did it's about 40 minutes long, and it's literally a step-by-step dashboard training, how to look at the dashboard, how to navigate to these educational awards, how to look at your DCP points. It's a little bit more geared towards an area director, but it's very beneficial as well for club officers as well. It won't let me open Pathways progress chart, not supported. Okay. Well, let me show you where to get it, Tracy.
Oh, it's not letting you open it?
Yeah, it wouldn't let her open it, but that's okay. I'm going to show where to go.
So when you're
in Facebook, you want to go to Pathways Discussion Forum and just join it. And there's this little handy dandy Files tab. And if you click on it, it gives you all of these resources that members all over Toastmasters International have posted. So it's a collaboration tool. And some of them you can see, they haven't been posted since 2020, but some of them were just done in January 5th of 2023, Pathways Roadmap. What does that look like? You can click in and look at it. A4 is a European paper size. It's like an 8.5 by 11. So when you see A4, that's what that means. But you can see someone else posted again on 2023. This is just a presentation. These are PDFs. Here is a pathway adjustment for spreadsheets. And what's really cool is there's all of these discussions out here just about pathways and base camp and confusion and people who want to get more clarity and things like that. It's just a networking tool. So I wanted to show this to you as an option. And then the other thing that you guys asked me was, how do I get to this dashboard? So when you're out in Toastmasters International, there's a dashboard section. I have this saved. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just literally put it into the chat right now. This is the link. And all you have to do is come up here and you can see these are all of the different clubs that I've searched recently. I've looked at Super DTM. I've looked at Confident Leaders. That's one of my clubs. Tyler Evening they're meeting tonight. I'm missing that call, but you can see they've made 3 out of 4 level 1s. They still need 2 level 2s. So I'm probably going to give them one of my level 2s. I don't think I've given them mine yet, but I'm going to show you something here in a second. They have their level 3, their level 4, and their 4-5 DTM. So they've made all of those goals and they're already at distinguished. So all they need to continue to do is get those officers trained this year at the winter TLI to meet that DCP point. And we need to go ahead and continue to work on getting 2 more new members, which I think they're on their way to doing that. But this is just where you're tracking your DCPs. How are you going to get to distinguish? What does that look like? And then over here is that other reports. And if you just click on daily reports, it's that fast. All you do is you come up here to educational achievements. and we're going to go look at mine. I'm going to go see if I've given anybody a level 2. And you can see Leslie was right. Literary Legends Club number 437 is at the very top. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the member name. And you can see that it starts with Yvonne Broach. So I'm just going to click on it again. And there it says name unavailable. So I'll just start at Yvonne. And I'm going to go to K's for Kimberly. And you can see that I've only given one educational award this year so far to competent leaders. I've given them my SR1, my strategic relationships one. I have some that I need to give that I've completed. So I need to go and look at who needs those and how many I know I'm going to have 2 level 2s to give because I'm doing engaging humor and strategic relationships. I know that I have level 1s to give. So I just need to go and figure that out. And then I need to go to my education VPs of ed or my presidents and tell them what I'd like to do. Has this been helpful this evening? Is this what you guys were hoping for? Is there
Definitely going
anything?
to take a while on the website and surf around, but you've given me a bunch of information I need to follow up on. Yeah, just practice makes perfect, as they say.
It really does. Those of you who know me on this panel, everybody, I learn the best when I have to teach and when I have to go understand the process. So like literally I was talking this through with Leslie and we were just going through it and I'm like, what order do we want to teach this? What's important when you're starting out? And that's why we started out with dashboards and reports. Know where your starting baseline is. And then progress into base camp and then Club Central. So it's like a 3-step process. Where are you at? Where are you wanting to go in base camp? And then the secondary follow on is don't forget to close them out in Club Central. If you don't, it won't go on to that dashboard that we were just looking at.
Tell your members don't speak for free. Make sure that they're going in there and getting credit for their projects.
Absolutely. If you have a job that you're speaking, leading meetings, now there's a rule on that. It is have a conversation with your VP Ed and let them know what your projects are and let them know where you're aligning it to. And there is a process in Basecamp that will allow for that so that you can get those credits. I'll give you an example. I actually did I think it was 8 different videos that I recorded for training. And I said, can I treat that as a podcast? I'm going through slides. I'm reading a script. I'm going to be talking about it. I did 8 different sessions. I edited them all myself. It counted and I gave a speech on it. So just think of little things that you might already be doing in your day job. If you're speaking at church, you're going to give a reading or you're going to be doing a Bible study or something like that. And if you've got I know we've got like Hallelujah High is a church group. Have someone come and evaluate you. Ask different members to come and visit. We're happy to do that. Or again, talk to your VP Ed and have that conversation. We have 8 minutes left. Are there any other questions? If not, I have some questions for you.
This is Merla. I just have a comment. So I'm not able to access that URL for the feedback because the firewall has blocked me, and I was trying to do it on my cell phone, but it's cutting off the categories like poor, fair, and satisfactory. So I didn't want anybody to think I was not going to fill this out. I just cannot get to it on my computer or I can't get it to display correctly on my phone, but this session has been valuable to me, good information. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so glad. That makes us happy. Naomi just seems to find these pockets of, hey, I think people could learn about this. And I just love it when we get to meet new people and help you out a little bit. I think it's great. So thank you for that, Marilla. We appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. Is there any other questions on this before I ask a couple of questions? And if you think of one while I'm talking, just interrupt me. I'm serious. So first, as officers, have you all went out and gotten your TLI registration so that you can get your officers trained to get that DCP point?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Oh, I see Tracy's got her hand raised.
No, I was just saying, yes, I did that.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, I have a question on that. Maybe you can
Yeah.
answer it. Is it required that you take both classes at the same TLI?
What does that mean, both classes?
For instance, my role, VP of or president.
President.
So I took president, but I didn't take combining. And so now I'm going to the Tyler TLI. And if I have to, I'll take combined officer and the president again.
No, you just have to take president once and
Okay.
combined once. And depending
Okay.
on what session you go to, I will be teaching one of the combined, and then Kelly McMaster will be teaching the other combined. We're everywhere.
right.
I'm telling you, Leslie and I are going to Tyler, and we're going to be doing some teaching out there. So if you're in Tyler, we'll definitely see you. We'll be excited to meet you in person if you're in person, and if not, we'll see you on Zoom. So yes, the answer is and I will just say this, I'm an officer as a president at Confident Leaders, VP Ed at Tyler Advanced. I would need to go and take a president session and a VP Ed session and a combined session. That's what we have been given from program quality for the winter. And so there would be the 3 hours that I would need. But if you're only a president, you would just need president one and then your combined officer or equivalent if there's any that they say are equivalent. Leslie was a gem and put our emails in there. She's true. That's very true. We're all out on the staff and leaders page. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at plains@d50tm.org and Leslie's at d64@d50tm.org. My next question is also just on the horizon. Contests are coming up. I'm just going to put a plug in. It's my district director is on with us right now, so I want to make sure she hears us touting that. If you have never been a part of a contest and you are interested about that and you would like to learn more, it doesn't matter if you're not in my division, send me an email or send Leslie an email. David Dunn is the Eastern Plains Eastern Division Director. Thanks for saying hi, David. Send us notes. We're happy to help you get to where you need to be. We're all very big advocates for contests. We've all competed at some way, shape, or form or helped. We always need helpers. There's lots of different ways to grow. If you've never been a contest master before, it's the bomb. I love it. It's fun. And then there's the bean counters, the ballot counters. That's Leslie's favorite role. She loves being the ballot counter. And David is an amazing, I also like to sergeant at arms, but Zoom mastering or sergeant at arming. Jen Hoke has done all of that before too. I'm going to call her out. So just ask us. We'd love to have you guys participate in contests this year. It's a great way. This year it's international and the winner goes to, what is it, conference, right, Christy? They get to go out to all the way to an international stage if we can get them out of D50 and they win.
If they go all the way, that's right. They would compete in the Bahamas in August.
There's the Bahamas. So if you're ever interested in maybe going somewhere tropical and giving a speech, this is the contest for you. You don't want to miss it.
Hey, we've got the Youth Leadership Summit coming up on February 18th at UTD. So if anybody's interested in that, we've got that coming up. Jen, I'm going to be reaching out to you shortly.
Yeah, well, there is, our club is already, they know about it, and we will have contestants and hopefully some help from the adults as well.
I love it.
Yes.
If you were ever feeling a little deflated on Toastmasters and you wanted a shot of wow and a shot of inspiration, go check out Youth Summit. You're going to see 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds knock your socks off with how they give evals back, how they give impromptu speeches and inspirational speeches. They are amazing kids. And if you have kids and you're interested in Gavel clubs, Sangeeta is on our staff page. Just reach out again to myself, Leslie, David, Christy. Just let us know. Manny is the program quality director, and we can get you in so that you can start learning more about Gabble for youth. And then last but definitely not least, our conference is going to be in May. And we would love for as much participation in person. We want to see you there. If you've never been to a Toastmasters conference, it's more of this. It's this in person. It's leadership learning. It's learning in person. It's what is your brand, or how do you get to your DTM, or different really cool topics that you may not know that you wanted to know about. Would love to see you at conference. It's going to be in Richardson, Texas. And I believe it's May 4th. Does it start May 4th, Christy? I don't have it memorized. 4th, 5th, 6th.
4th to 6th.
4th to the 6th. All right. We just rattled off a lot. Again, if you have any questions, reach out. We're happy to help. Hopefully this did the trick and you guys got some good stuff.
Yeah, excellent job. Just from my perspective, I've been in Pathways, but I've never done the manager. So I really feel like I'm confidently going to go forward to do my job as an officer. So thank you.
Hey, that's saying something when I get to train a Jen Hoke.
Oh yeah, no. I'm constantly learning, Kimberly, constantly. It's a lifelong, whatever, goal, passion. Yes.
It's awesome. I agree.
Yeah.
We have to always be sponges. So I appreciate that. Naomi, you're going to close this out. Is there anything you want to take us home, hun?
All right. Well, great job, ladies. I truly appreciate everything it is that you presented tonight. Download the chat. Download the chat. I will also send you email with the links that Leslie and Kim provided in their session tonight, along with those handouts. Be sure that if you get an opportunity, fill out the feedback form so we can know how well we did and what else it is that you would like to learn. I want to thank our district director for popping in on us. Christy Peterson, thank you. Do you have anything that you would like to say, or would you like to close us out?
Oh, I just simply want to thank you, Naomi, for finding this great session, and for Kim and Leslie for presenting it, and especially our VPs of education, to know that it is important to know that you have extra tools to help you keep track of what the club is doing. So kudos to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening and take care. And we look forward to seeing you attend our next session. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.